Hi guys, I'm Chris and I'm an osteopath, and the thing I'm most interested in is using intentional living to lead a healthier life. And recently I was chatting to a friend of mine who's a personal development coach, and he was asking me what my morning routine is like. He knows I'm into things like exercise and meditation and journaling, all that stuff, and he assumed I had some sort of routine, and he wanted to know how I fit it in while having two young kids so that he could help his clients who also have young kids. But if you've got young kids, you know that a morning routine is pretty much impossible. Sometimes they sleep through, sometimes they don't, sometimes they get up super early, sometimes they don't. Sometimes you wake up and they're in a good mood, sometimes you wake up and there's a world of chaos and fighting and wrestling. So who knows what life is going to throw at you when you've got young kids. A morning routine, I find, is absolutely impossible. My kids, they tend to like waking up really early, so like 5:30. So although it's fine waking up at 5:30 from time to time, doing it every day is hard work, and I cannot remember what it feels like to be rested. So the thought of waking up even earlier to get my morning routine done is just no hope. I'm never going to do that. I value my sleep way too much. And even though they sleep through the night most of the time, they still wake up from time to time. So I am not waking up earlier to get these habits done. I wake up when I wake up, and whatever gets done, gets done. Having said that, I do like to lead an intentional life, and those things I mentioned, the exercise, the journaling, the meditation, they are all things that are important to me. And given the choice, I do prefer to do those things in the morning. So how do they get done, and what does life look like when you've got two young kids and life can be a little bit chaotic? First of all, I have a to not do list. We all speak about to-do lists, but very often it's what you don't do that matters the most. So every night I sleep with my phone on airplane mode. When I come downstairs, it stays on airplane mode until I've got the day started. So I am not checking any emails, I'm not checking anything to do with work, no WhatsApp messages, no social media for at least the first hour of my day. Phone on airplane mode is a must. The next thing I highly recommend is to have a mindful ritual. And for me, that's to make the most beautiful coffee. So I have just discovered the YouTube channel of James Hoffman. I cannot believe I've only just discovered his channel. I have gone down the coffee rabbit hole. I already thought I was a coffee geek, but now I am a super geek, and I spend a mindful 10 minutes or so making coffee. That is sacred time, so my kids can come in and pester me, and I will obviously help deal with them. But I am making coffee, and I'm doing it in a very mindful way. The good thing about being a bit of a geek is that there's lots of little bits of the process you need to concentrate on. There are some beautiful smells that come from making very good coffee, freshly ground and all that stuff. So I'm able to use all my senses to focus on this simple task, to have this nice mindful ritual. Leading on from that, and along similar lines, we must remember that if you like meditation and mindfulness as a practice, the reason we do it is to be calmer in life. So even though I like sitting down for 20 minutes doing a meditation practice, the reason I do those meditation practices are so that I can be a calmer dad, a better husband, and engage in the world in a better way. So while my mornings may be slightly chaotic and I don't get the time to sit for 20 minutes to do a meditation, my life is my meditation. So whinging children are a great time to practice meditating. I was listening to a podcast with Tim Ferriss, and he was interviewing his meditation teacher. And at the time in this particular podcast, Tim Ferriss had just been on a 10-day Vipassana retreat. I really want to go on a 10-day Vipassana retreat, but I just wouldn't put my family through it because you go incognito for 10 days. So Tim Ferriss was asking his teacher, what do you recommend for people with families where they say they can't get away for 10 days? And the teacher said something that's really stuck in my mind, and he said, if you've got young kids, that is your meditation. Of course you're not going to get away for 10 days and go incognito. Your life is your meditation. So that stuck with me. So although in the morning I'd love just to have peace and quiet and sit for 20 minutes and do a structured meditation, what I'm trying to do now is just use the chaos of life to pay attention to my thoughts and my feelings and breath, and just engage with my family and do it in a mindful way, and that is the meditation. So remember, although sitting in a mindfulness meditation is great, so is using the techniques in your crazy life. Moving on from that again, I like to have some rules. So although my kids are typically up early, I have a rule where if I'm up before them, which doesn't happen very often, but if I'm up before them, I do one of two things. I either meditate or I do yoga. And I like to move in the morning and stretch in a mindful way, Or I'll sit and I just basically see how I feel on the day. I'll know what one I want to do, but that's the rule. If I'm up before them, I might creep downstairs and try not to wake them up, creep past their bedrooms, don't tread on the squeaky floorboards, and I'll listen to my body. Do I want to sit and meditate, or do I want to move gently and mindfully? That's the rule. But like I say, it doesn't happen very often. And lastly, the other habit that I really enjoy is exercise. And the way I now approach that as a dad of young children is that I've just accepted that I'm not as fit as I used to be, and there's no hope of me getting there at the moment. Remember, the primary goal of exercise should be to have an overall physical and mental well-being, and to help you be strong enough and fit enough to live the life you want to live. A secondary goal can be to have muscles and to have six-pack abs and to be super fit, but that's not the primary goal. That comes later when you've got the time and when you've got the energy. If you don't have the time and you don't have the energy, that's okay, because to improve your well-being and to be fit enough and strong enough to live the life you want to live, you actually don't need that much exercise. 10 or 20 minutes of bodyweight movements at home is enough, a few times a week, and walking is enough, and just doing what you can when you can is enough. So let go of the pressure that you put on yourself, and let go of your old memories of doing hour-long sessions in the gym or going swimming 3 times a week where you have to drive to the swimming pool and get changed and shower. Sometimes with young kids, it's not going to happen. So let go of all that and think about what your primary goals are. Really, I'm pretty certain your primary goals will be just well-being. And you can do that fairly simply with exercise at home without any equipment. Remember, you've got little humans to look after, so you don't have to be as fit as you used to be. The main point with all this stuff is to be intentional and to think about what matters to you. From a personal development perspective, what matters to me is exercise, stretching, meditation, journaling. But what also matters to me is sitting down and having breakfast with my kids or cuddling them while they're watching cartoons. And I've just come to accept that I'm not going to be great at all those things. So rather than feel conflicted, I embrace that. I embrace the balance that I've had to create. So I just try my best when I can and when I have the energy. Life with young kids is chaotic, but it's beautiful, and for me there's just no hope of having a routine, but having those ideas in my mind just helps me get things done when I can, and I hope that's helped you too. As I said at the beginning, what I find interesting is using intentional living to lead to a healthier life. So if you've enjoyed this video, please consider hitting subscribe, and then I'll be making weekly videos to help you along the journey.